Hi, everybody. We're going to do U.9, which is solve a system of equations using substitution, and we're going to do word problems. So they're probably going to set them up for us. I haven't previewed it, so hopefully it'll be a fun one. Let's take a look. And what have we got? Oh, there it is. Mr. Hanson, the owner of 2 car dealerships in Westford, is holding a contest to see which one can sell the most cars. Westford has already sold 5 cars, and Hanson has sold 1 car. Going forward, the salespeople at Westford Cars think they can sell 8 cars a day, whereas Hanson's are aiming for 12 cars per day. If the salespeople's predictions are accurate, it won't be long before the 2 dealerships are tied. How many cars will each lot have sold? How long will it take? So we're setting up a system of equations, and you have to look at the slope and the intercept for the 2 different car dealerships, and then we're going to set them equal to one another. So I'm going to use W to represent Westford instead of Y1 and Y2. It's just so much easier to keep track of them that way. So Westford Auto says that they have sold 5 cars already. Now that is their Y-intercept, but I usually like to write it however it appears in the problem. But we could write it as the slope times the number of cars. I'm going to call the car C, the number of cars. And it says going forward, they think they can sell 8 cars per day plus 8 cars per day. Now we could have said that's 8x plus 5. We could have said 8c plus 5. It doesn't matter. Hanson's has sold 1 car, and they think that they can sell 12 cars per day. And so what we're looking for is when will the 2 pass each other up? The day that they're tied is the day that one starts getting ahead, or that's how we want to find the break-even point, or the time when they're tied. So we are going to find out when will Westford Auto be equal to Hanson's. And this is substitution. Instead of the W, I'm going to put the 5 plus 8C. And instead of Hanson, I'm going to put the 1 plus 12C. That's just straightforward substitution. And then we're going to solve this. A lot of people like to keep their variables on the left, but it doesn't matter. Either way, you're going to subtract 8C from both sides. I want to caution you on doing the following. This is a very common mistake. There's 2 things that happen, and students tend to do one or both. First of all, the best thing to do is to always start with your variables. So always try to start solving with variables. So I'm going to subtract 8C from both sides. Now I made a mistake on purpose, and I want to show you what that mistake is. A common error that I see is that students will write -8, and they'll say to themselves, well, I know what I mean. You know what I mean. Why should I have to write the C? Well, the reason you have to write the C is that you cannot take 8C minus 8. And if you do that long enough, eventually you're going to start trying to add 5 plus 8C, and it's not going to work for you. So if you mean subtract 8C, you really need to write it. Now, I also usually do the next step at the same time, but that can be somewhat dangerous because students will make weird errors at that point. So I'm going to go ahead and just add these together. I have 5 on the left is equal to 1 plus 4C. We're solving for the number of cars. Actually, this is the number of days that go by. I apologize. I should have called this D for days that are going by. And this is H and W stand for the number of cars, don't they? Sorry about that, guys. Because we want to make sure our variables make sense. Since they're selling 12 cars per day, D is the variable of interest, which is the number of days that go by. And the number of cars is the W and the H. It's an easy mistake to make. I apologize. Anyway, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides in this first equation, and we get 4d is equal to 4. I'm just subtracting 1 from both sides of my equation and dividing by 4, and we get d equals 1. And so after 1 day, the 2 car lots should be the same. And let's see if that's true. If I put a 1 in here, the Westford, I think it's Westford. Yeah, Westford is going to have 13 car sales, and Hanson's is going to have 13 car sales. So they are going to have 13, which you do need to substitute it in, 13 cars in 1 day. Okay, joint car wash. Now this time we're actually talking about cars, and the volleyball team is, we're going to be talking about V is the amount of money raised by the volleyball team, and they get $2 for every car they wash. This time the car is actually the variable, plus the $58 that they started with. Notice I wrote it in the order that it appeared in the problem. Now the wrestling team, now this is the money that the wrestling team collects, says that they raised $12 in the past and $4 for each car that they wash, plus 12 in the past. And when will the money be the same? So in other words, when will the volleyball team's accounts be equal to the wrestling team? Or rather, when will the wrestling team catch up? Because their slope is faster. That's another way of thinking about it. And so we have 2c plus 58 is equal to 4c plus 12. And we're going to subtract the 2c from both sides. I guess I could write it. And a lot of times I'll do this other step at the same time, but I'm going to leave it off. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and I get 2c. When I subtract 2 from both sides, I get 56. And divide by 2 on both sides, and you get c is equal to, looks like 28. Huh? So it's going to take 28 cars for the wrestling team to catch up to the volleyball team, and they're going to be equal at that point. Now you still have to find out how much money they're going to have. So we can substitute the 28 into here, and that's going to be 4 times 28, which is 112, plus the 12 makes 124. Well, a good way to check is to actually make sure that they have the same amount. So we're going to multiply the 28 times the 2, which gives us 56 plus 58, which is 114, isn't it? Ruh-roh, what did I do? There it is. 4 times 8 is 32. No, that's correct. That's correct. Where did I make my mistake? 28, half of 56 is 28. Oh, couldn't figure out where my mistake was. Sorry, guys. This should have been a 12, shouldn't it? I don't know why I lost my 12. Do you see why you want to check your answer? Because if you make one little error, I missed off on that 1 right there, and it is really easy to make a mistake. And it looked really good, didn't it? So a good idea is to always check your answers as you go. So now let's fix this guy. So let's see. I could pretend like I made that on purpose. So we'll subtract 12 from both sides, and we get 2c is equal to 46. And so c is equal to 23 cars, isn't it? So now let's see if that works. 23 times 4 is 92 plus 12, which is 104, and 23 times 2 is 46, which makes 104. And this is in dollars. This is how much money they have in their accounts. So after washing 23 cars, they will both have a total of $104. Okay, guys, be careful. It is, like I said, it's really easy if you miss a digit, if you make a small error, but you can check your answer, which is really nice. Okay, Aaron and his cousin Sarah are picking apples. Aaron has filled 5 baskets with apples and is filling them at a rate of 6 baskets per hour. So Aaron has already filled 5 baskets, and he's filling them at a rate of 6 baskets per hour. Now, this is the number of hours, and A stands for Aaron's baskets of apples. Keep in mind that that's not apples. Now, Sarah, it's baskets filled with them. Sarah has 15 already and will continue picking at 1 basket per hour. She must be really picky about her apples that she's going to put in the basket. Or she's like I used to do. And when I was picking cherries, I would eat more than half of them, and not very many would go in the basket. All right, we want to find out when will they, let's see, fill the same number of baskets. I want to make sure that the question is, I'm actually answering the question asked, which is when will they have the same number of baskets? A stands for the baskets that Aaron has, and S stands for the Sarah's. So when will Aaron's baskets equal Sarah's? When will he catch up? So 5 plus 6H is equal, when will that be equal to 15 plus 1H? I'm going to subtract the 1H from both sides. You don't have to write the 1 if you don't want to. That's going to be 5 plus 5H is equal to 15. We're going to subtract the 5 from both sides. We get 5H equals 10. And so it will happen at 2 hours. So after 2 hours, we suspect that they're going to have the same number of baskets. Let's see. Sarah is going to have 2 plus 15, which is 17 baskets. And after 2 hours, Aaron will have 12 plus 5, which is 17 baskets. Notice that it does not take very long to check your answer, and it's always a good idea. So in 2 hours, the cousins will have filled 17 baskets with apples. Lots of substituting, very common type of practice. Okay, so Sarah is going to the water slides and she needs to figure out which deal is better. She can pay $33 to go to the water slides as much as she wants, or she can pay $18 to get in and $3 for each trip. So 2 ways to go. She can do, basically the unlimited is $33, or she can pay for per trip or per slide 18 plus the 3 for how many slides or trips she goes on. So this is the cost if she pays per slide, and this is the unlimited cost. And we want to compare the 2 options. So we want to know, when are the 2 options equivalent in terms of cost? This is the break-even point. And this is what most business analysis is about, because once you have the break-even point, it tells you when you're starting to make profit, or when one option is equivalent to another, so that they change over. Anyway, we have 18. When will the individual trip cost be equal to the $33? And this is something we tend to intuitively do anyway. We subtract 18 from both sides. Unfortunately, we tend to overestimate the number of trips we're going to take. You get a little tired going up on the climbing the stairs up to the slides. Let's see, that's going to be 15, isn't it? And we're going to divide by 3 on both sides. So if she does 5 trips, then they're going to be equal. And it's always a good idea to go ahead and put the 5 in just to double check it. 18 plus 15, of course, is 33. So they are equal at 5 trips, and they both cost $33. I suspect that most people probably do more than 5, but who knows? There it is. Oh no, come on, reload. There we go. All right, 2 kids. Oh, it's looking like I'm not getting it. Come on, update. I'm not getting my update. Oh, there we go. Now it's updated. All right, 2 kids at a summer camp, Colette and Lily, are competing in a potato sack race. Colette is younger, so she is given a head start of 6 yards. When the race starts, Colette hops at a rate of 1 yard per second, so pretty fast. Colette gets 6 plus 1 yard per second. This is seconds of the race, so I'm going to use S. I guess I could use T for time. I generally don't like to use S if I can help it, but it's seconds, so it's fine. Lily hops at a rate of 4 yards per second. She is moving along. 4 yards per second is really fast. All right. When will they be equal? Eventually, Lily will overtake Colette. So basically, when are they going to be equal? 6 plus 1s. When will that equal 4s? And we're going to subtract 1s from both sides. A common error at this point is something really weird, something you want to be very careful of. And I just want to show it to you because I see this very often. It's a weird error. And the reason that it continues is because people get the right answer for the wrong reasons. Here's what they do. And this is wrong. I just want to show you over here. Wrong. And I'm going to show you this weird error. It happens all the time. And you'd be surprised how often it comes up. So what happens is students go, oh, I'm going to subtract the 4s. Now, this in and of itself isn't wrong, but the problem is that they get 6 minus 3s, and they're so used to canceling this out that they go, they're supposed to put as equals 0, and then they're supposed to finish solving it. But what they do, and I hate it when they do this, they say, well, you know what? That minus sign sort of looks like an equal, so I'm just going to set it equal, and then I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. And the problem with errors is when you get the right answer for the wrong reasons. This does work, and unfortunately, it is absolutely makes no sense what I did, but it's something that happens a lot. And students continue to do it, and then they think to themselves, oh, math makes no sense. Well, it does make sense, and so the best option is to subtract the 1s from both sides. And you do get 6 is equal to 3s, and of course s is equal to 2. And to check our answer just takes a second. Lily's going to be at 8 yards, and Colette's going to be at 8 yards. So there we have it. It will take, man, that's a fast race, 2 seconds. And they're going to be 8 yards. Oops. All right, guys, we got it. They don't always have to make sense. Okay, Mr. Avila and Miss Whitehead are teaching their classes how to write in cursive. Interesting, they stopped teaching that now. Mr. Avila has already taught his class 10 letters. The students in Miss Whitehead's class who started the unit later currently know how to write 4 letters. Mr. Avila plans to teach his class 1 new letter a week, and Miss Whitehead tends to cover 4 new letters per week. I think we can figure out where this is going. So this is the number of, this is going to be the number of letters in that Mr. Avila's class knows, and it happens to be, let's see, how many does 10 plus 1 each week. And then Miss Whitehead's knows 4 and plans, 4 letters, yes. And she plans to cover 4 each week. So we want to know, let's see, when will they know the same number of letters? So clearly 10 plus 1W, we're going to substitute. When will they be equal? And when will 4 plus 4W be equal? We're going to subtract the 1W from both sides. I get 4 plus 3W is equal to 10. I just subtracted the 1W from both sides. And we're going to subtract the 4. We get 3W is equal to 6. And we divide by 3. And we get W is equal to 2. Now, this is not words. This is weeks. I decided to use W for weeks. So it's 2 weeks. And we should check our answer. Let's see. This one is going to be 12, isn't it? 4 plus 8 is 12. And this one is going to be 12. 10 plus 2 is 12. And so they're going to be able to write 12 letters in cursive. All right, we're talking about wages as well as $1 per every subscription they sell. So Mia earns $12 per hour plus $1 for each subscription she earns. Hang on just a second. Let's get rid of that for a second. Let's make sure I read the question. If they each sell a certain number of subscriptions in an hour, they will end up earning the same amount. How much would each one earn? Okay, so the question is how many subscriptions would that be? So the rate we want to use is the subscriptions rather than the number of hours. So we're going to go with, let's see. In 1 hour. So in an hour. So the hour is just going to be 1 hour of sales. So we want Mia to earn the $12 for the hour plus $1 for the number of subscriptions. And Austin gets paid $7 plus 2 for each subscription. And the interest is how many subscriptions in that 1 hour did they sell so that they're equal? And of course, we're going to have 12 plus 1s is equal to 7 plus 2s. We're not changing the hours, we're changing the number of subscriptions within a single hour. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 1s from both sides. And at the same time, I'm going to subtract the 7. I hope that's clear. Subtracting s, I'm subtracting 7, and I get s is equal to 5 subscriptions. So if Mia sells 5, she's going to get $17. If Austin sells 5, he's going to get $17. 17 for selling 5 subscriptions. Pretty amazing salespeople. And there we go. Let's pause it for just a second, make sure it updates okay. Okay, guys, Bob is a kickboxing instructor who will be teaching classes at a local gym. To get certified, he spent a total of $141. He will be earning a base salary of $66 per month, plus an additional 15 times each time he teaches. When will he earn back the amount he spent on the certification? So we want to know during the first month he wants to finish paying off his certification. So he spent $141 on his certification, and we want to know when will that be equal to his pay, and we'll go ahead and separate them out. This is $141 is what he paid for his certification, and this is going to be his monthly pay is going to be 66 plus 15 for each class he teaches. So we want to know when will he pay off his certification. So it's 141 is equal to 66 plus 15C. We're going to subtract the 66 from both sides. And it looks like we're going to get 75. Is that right? Is equal to 15C. And so we have to divide by 15 and we get C equals 5 classes. Better make sure 75 plus 66 is actually 141. And it sure is, isn't it? So Bob's expenses and earnings will both be $141 when he teaches 5 classes. So we want earnings and expenses to be equal. And of course, that's when he actually starts getting paid because he's paid for his certification. All right. A couple of friends decide to race one another. It says Kendall can run 4 yards per second, very fast, whereas Hansen can run 9 yards per second. Wow. Because she is slower, Kendall also gets a head start of 45 yards. So Kendall gets a head start of 45 and can run 4 yards per second. I suspect that's more like feet, but okay. Depends on how old they are, I suppose. Hansen can run 9 yards per second. Shortly after they start running, Hansen will catch up to Kendall. How long will that be? How far will they have run? Yada, yada, yada. When will Kendall be equal, or rather, when will Hansen be equal to Kendall? So 45 plus 4S is equal to 9S. And again, we have that weird situation where you could subtract the 9S from both sides and end up with a problem. So it's better to subtract the 4S. Watch out for my weird error that I showed you. So 45, which looks a little like 4S, is equal to 5S. Man, I don't like S's. I'm going to use T next time. Divide by 5, and we get S equals 9. 9 seconds. Definitely should have used T. So anyway, and how far will they have run? Well, they'll have run in 9 seconds, 81 yards. And in 9 seconds, that's 36 plus 45, which does make 81, doesn't it? A lot of 9s, a lot of S's, a lot of 5s going on in that problem. Would have been a lot better to have used T for time. Okay, we're getting there. 2 friends, Olivia and Sue, are growing out their hair. They plan to cut it off at a certain point and donate to charity that makes wigs for people with cancer. Olivia's hair is already 21 centimeters long. So I'm just going to write a model of Olivia's hair length, which is 21, and grows at a constant rate of 2 centimeters per month. We'll go with C for centimeters per month. Oh, wait, no. 2 centimeters per month, because we want to know when are they going to be the same length, and O is actually in centimeters. That way it means that M should be in months so that we can find out how long her hair is after a certain number of months. Sue's hair, and I'm going to use the S, is 15 right now, but is growing at 3 centimeters per month. So when will they be on a certain day? And they want to cut it at the same time when they have the same length. So when will S equal O? 15 plus 3m will be equal to 21 plus 2m. I'm going to subtract the 2m from both sides, and I'm going to get m. I'm going to subtract the 15 from both sides. I'm going to do it all at one time. And I'm going to have 7. 6. Can't subtract today. 21 minus 15 is 6. 6 what? 6 months. Now, we suspect that they're going to be the same after 6 months, but how long will that be? Let's take a look. So Olivia is then going to have 21 plus 12, which is 33 centimeters. You really do want to write it in and actually do the problem instead of just kind of checking it in your head. It's better to write it out formally to double check. 3 times the 6 months. That's 15 plus 18, which is, again, 33 centimeters. So 6 months, they will be equal at 33. Two workers are filling holiday bouquets. In a holiday boutique, are filling stockings with small gifts and candy. Zoe has already filled 8 stockings and will continue filling them at 2 stockings per hour. So this is the number of stockings that Zoe has done. 8 plus 2 every hour. And Stephen can fill 3 stockings per hour, but it looks like he doesn't have any to start with, who just arrived. So he has none, but he can fill 3 per hour. A little faster worker. So when will the number of stockings be equal? Notice that this is Stephen, not stockings. So when will Stephen equal Zoe's stockings? And that's 3h is equal to 8 plus 2h. And again, same weird error that comes up. You subtract the 2h from both sides and we get 8 is equal to h minus 2h minus 2h on both sides. That does give you h equals 8 hours. Well, Stephen will have finished 24. And Zoe, 8 plus 16 is also 24. In 8 hours, each worker will have filled 24 stockings. Elves, I guess. In a paint factory, an old conveyor line has filled 33 barrels of paint and is filling more at a rate of 1 barrel per minute. So the old conveyor line, and then we have the new. So I guess I could use O for the old. And it has 33, it's already done, and it's filling at 1 per minute. M is minutes going by. And O is the number of barrels on the old conveyor line. Hopefully all that's clear. And we have a new line that can fill 12 barrels per minute. It's 12M. And in a little while, the 2 lines will have filled an equal number of barrels. So 12, when will they be equal? When will the newer line equal the older one? New equals old. At what point? So 12m, when will it be equal to 33 plus 1m? We subtract the 1m from both sides, we get 11m. It's equal to 33. I just subtracted 1m. And we divide by 11, and m is equal to 3 minutes. Doesn't take long. Both lines will have filled. How many? Well, it's been 3 minutes, which makes 36 barrels for the old line, and 3 minutes will make 36 barrels for the new line. That's 36 barrels in 3 minutes. The Patterson family is looking to rent a large truck for their move. Cindy's moving company, they would pay $81 for the first day, plus $11 for each additional day. And I'm going to call it A for additional days, because remember, this could get really confusing because additional days is different than days going by. And this can be very confusing. Now, in a lot of instructors would use the D-1 right there. I'm not going to do it that way, even though that's the way they would usually set it up. I would prefer to solve for additional days and just realize that there is one extra at the end. Just be careful. Because in fact, they're asking for additional days. So that would really mess you up. Anyway, in comparison, Vindale. So Vindale charges $91 for the first day and only $1 for each additional day. Yeah, don't think so. Anyway, when will they be equal? So when will Cindy's be equal to Vindale's? And we have 81 plus 11A is equal to 91 plus 1A. Of course, what I would do is keep the truck for the year. And it would cost $365. I would save lots of money and have a truck to use for the year. Actually, I would rent it out at $100 a day. Anyway, we have 10A because I subtracted 1A from both sides. And I'm going to just write that just real quick. And at the same time, I could subtract the 81 from both sides. And we get 10. And A is equal to 1, isn't it? 1 additional day. If the Peterson family rented the truck for 1 additional day, they would pay 91 plus 2 is 92. Either way. So 1 additional day would give us 92, and 1 additional day would give us 92. They don't necessarily have to make any sense, I suppose. So there we have it. And it looks like we're on our last one. I hope you guys will get it too. 2 political activists, Sebastian and Herman, have a friendly bet to see who can get the most signatures on a petition. So far, Sebastian has collected 127 signatures, and Herman has collected 34. Okay. Sebastian is averaging 1 new signature per minute. This is the number of signatures that Sebastian has gathered. Herman is averaging 4 per minute, so obviously his rate is much higher. This is the number of signatures Herman is getting. Now, assuming this trend continues, now this is a really important statement, because if the rates keep changing, then there's no way to solve this problem. But if the rates stay the same, then when will they be equal? When will S equal H? In other words, when will the 127 plus 1 per minute equal the 34 plus 4 per minute? And we're going to go ahead and subtract the 1m from both sides. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave the 34 over there for right now. Then I'm going to subtract the 34 from both sides. And it looks like I'm going to get what looks like 93 is equal to 3m when I subtract the 34. Sorry, it's a little, you can't quite see it there at the bottom. That's not a 20, that's a 30 here. Let's see if I can fix it for you. No, didn't help much, but there you have it. 3m is equal to 33, so it looks like in 31 minutes, they're going to have the same number of signatures. Now, you really need to check this. 31 and 31. Well, this one is harder, so I'm going to do this one first. 124 is 31 times 4 plus the 34 gives me 158. 127 plus the 31 gives me 158. And sure enough, after they will both have collected 158 signatures in 31 minutes. I hope you guys will try it yourself, and I'll see you back again sometime. Bye.